Good evening, guys. This is Lost and Found. I wanted to get on here tonight and talk about the transformation that happens when you get locked up at a young age. I was 18 the first time I got locked up. It was for armed robbery. I was 18 for about 4 days when I caught this charge. When I got locked up, I thought I was going home. All my friends told on me. They were sitting in the car. They weren't even around the scene of where it happened. I did all this by myself. There was no need for them to do that, but they did. And I went to adult jail this time. I went walking across receiving, where you stay at for about 2 weeks until they classify you and decide where to put you. I didn't really get into too much in there. You know, people were saying slick stuff when I walked through the door, like fresh meat and stuff like that. Didn't bother me at all. You know, my brother, I have an older brother, and I already knew the game before I went in there. As soon as I hit the tier, I was on a pod, which is one of the easiest tiers to be on, and a gang member came up to me, started messing with me about the Justin Bieber thing and the joking about my hair, and I was like, look, bro, that shit's dead. We're not doing that. And, you know, he wasn't afraid of me. I was just a kid. He laughed it off, and I think that he liked me because of that. He took me under his wing. You know, so I just kind of kicked it with him, and I was in there 63 days. I got out on house arrest. I went to court. I got sentenced to 6 years DOC, all suspended with 63 days time served, and then I had 6 years back up. So, you know, I had a lot of time over my head. I knew it was a setup. Everybody was telling me it was a setup. I took the armed robbery charge, pled guilty. They dropped the rest of the charges. After that, every 3 months I was locked up. I went from looking like Justin Bieber to, you know, a tattoo here, and then I got involved in an organization. I smacked it straight on my neck. I have now got that covered up. I don't really get into the details of that situation, and but I will say this. I will say how this happened. You know, I was in there. I was not going to get picked on. I've been getting picked on all my life from my brother, so I already know how that goes. My brother had me fighting kids ever since I've been, you know, 6, 7 years old. So I went in there really with no fear in my heart to begin with. I kind of just would blank out and not think about it, and I would just pop it off and then do what I had to do. And I had a lot of eyes on me during this time when I was, you know, getting into all them altercations. And I had a few people approach me asking me to become part of the organization. I turned it down because of their substantiability. They weren't very substantial. And then I finally, somebody came up to me who, you know, is known, who names ring bells. I know him. He's known me for a few years, and you know, he's seen me get into a few things. So he approaches me one day at the table. He's like, look, bro. He was like, I like what I see in you. He was like, you know, when you come home, he was like, you know, I'm trying to talk to you about that. Well, part of this organization, you are not respected if you do that in a county jail. People don't respect it. It's just part of the rules. It's either prison or on the street. And, you know, I believe now it's just in prison. So, you know, I ended up going upstairs during that bid, and he was upstairs. I ended up going to lockup for fighting over the TV, and he ended up upstairs too for something. But we were down the hallway from each other. So he wrote me a kite that morning talking about he was going home, and you know, I wished him the best. You know, when I see you uptown, we'll do whatever. And then the CO comes to the steel bars, because now I'm on medium at this point. I got in trouble and came upstairs. And he comes to the catwalk, and he's like, pal, you're going downstairs to discharge. I'm like, for what? He's like, you're going to a program. The same day, they shipped me out too. I went to a halfway house. He went home. I linked up with him on the street. You know, we did that. And I will tell you that it really has caused nothing but problems. In jail, I feel like, you know, I have stood on my own, facing 12 people, you know, and I've seen them by their cell phone a one-on-one tip and go check in and hit a button. So, you know, I'm not okay with you labeling yourself as that. And I I'm labeling myself as the same thing, and I'm doing this and you're doing that. So, you know, once I had my kid, I kind of just started doing my own thing and started living a family life. You know, like I said, I'm not getting into too many details that involves that, but, you know, I will say that it wasn't a good idea. And, you know, if you have that opportunity, turn it down. I'm going to tell you right now, you're tougher on your own 2 feet than you are with anybody. And, you know, there was a CO, his name's Mr. Johnson, and he works at Jennifer Road Detention Center in Annapolis, Maryland. And, you know, I was thinking about that earlier, and that's what made me want to talk about this video. You know, it's kind of sad when you think about how I came in that jail with no tattoos and long hair, you know, because of a split decision I made, something fast. And here I am all these years later, all the pain, all the things I saw. You know, when I was 18, the first time I was in there, I watched another 18-year-old being picked on, you know, and he took a bag and put a lock in it, and he knocked the guy's eye socket out his face, and he got charged with attempted murder. So, you know, right off the bat, I was exposed to that stuff, and you will adapt to your environment. I don't care who you are or where you are, you will adapt to your environment. You're either going to adapt to your environment or you're going to get ate up. So, you know, that's what I did. And part of adapting to your environment and an environment like that is, part of that is becoming a monster. It's becoming somebody who, you know, you didn't want to become. And the system will fail you. The system will push you into that person. They say it helps you. It doesn't help you. I'm letting you guys know that now. So I just wanted to share that story with you real quick tonight. It was on my mind, you know, it had me thinking a lot, and it sucks. I wonder what my life would be like had I never seen a jail cell, you know. A lot of nights I spent on lockup, you know, 7 months at a time, you know, in a little concrete room, you know, and that's got to do something to your mental. You know, I'm just blessed today that I can sit here and I can talk to you guys, and I still have enough self-esteem and enough confidence and enough self-love to get on here and care about people and try to lift them up. So everybody that's watching, I truly do appreciate it. Everybody that subscribes, I appreciate it. You know, I'm doing this to help people. This keeps me moving, it keeps me happy, and it keeps me in a good place in my mind. So I need this. And this wouldn't be possible without you guys. So I want you guys to have a good night, and I want you guys to stay out of jail. Don't never go to jail. You guys have a good night, and thank you for watching.